Why would someone want to live in Lincoln Park, one of Chicago's busiest, most expensive neighborhoods? Well, the single family homes are in demand here. The market is hot and always has been. Over the last 30 years, I've been selling here, and the market is always good in Lincoln Park, even in economic downturns. So the home behind me is an example of new construction condos, and then you will have some existing properties still around here that people have owned for 30, 40, 50 years that they've renovated, frame homes, mostly frame, and they just keep them, they rent them out, or they live in them. Eventually the developers will catch up on a lot of the properties because the land values are anywhere between $1 and $2 million depending on the size and the location of the property. What's really in demand in Lincoln Park is properties that are on multiple lots. Some of the streets have properties that are on 3, 4, 5, 6 lots. So right now there's a property for $30 million, but primarily the most active part of the single family home market is between $1 and $2 million, and then between $2 and $3 million, and then you get up to new construction between like 3.5 to 4.5. All of these different sections of the market are very strong. I definitely am working on off-market deals here and there for things that people want that they can't find. But you will have a tremendous amount of people coming from out of town that want to live in Lincoln Park because it's just one of the most stable, safe, economic places to live. So meaning when 2008 hit, the market in Lincoln Park went down the very least out of any other area in Chicago, in the entire state actually. It really weathered the storm quite well compared to any other area. So, you know, there's always been developers building in Lincoln Park since the 1980s, and it just continues with the prices going up. There's only so much land, and the condo projects have knocked down some of the hospitals that used to be here. So there's some large townhome condo developments, some as high as $1,000 per square foot. I'd be a little bit careful on some of those if you're purchasing. I think that might be tip of the market, but overall Lincoln Park is just a solid place to live. You can walk to the lake, you can walk to parks. They have great private and public schools, highly ranked on niche.com, and you have a lot of people that have come from out of state and live here, corporate relocations. You have many of the professional Chicago athletes living in Lincoln Park. I'm actually standing just a couple doors down from where one of the Blackhawks players used to live, and I've just recently had some other clients come here, pretty high profile people that have also purchased in Lincoln Park. Just a great spot that's usually so close to downtown, so close to the expressway, and you know, you can't really do much better. I just recently had a fairly high profile client want a multiple lot property here in Lincoln Park that I found for them, and they wanted something with a large yard where they could have a basketball court next door. So that was something we just found. So if you want something on market, off market, interested in Lincoln Park or the surrounding areas, just call, text, email. Happy to answer any questions you need. Sold over 1,000 properties here and in adjoining areas in my career. If you want a high-rise condo in Lincoln Park, the market has not been hit as hard as the downtown market, meaning the prices are a little bit more stable in Lincoln Park and the high-rises and in other areas of the city. There's fewer high-rises in Lincoln Park. So you have to know the personality of the buildings, the owner occupancy, what they have in the bank account, how they take care of the buildings, what the resale values have been. So I know these over the last 30 years, they've been pretty good for the most part, better than downtown, especially with COVID. So some of the mid-rise condos are pretty great, beautiful. Some of them get tall enough to be an elevator building. Others are just a little bit shorter in their walk-ups. But the developers are usually pretty darn high quality. You're looking at, you know, usually about $1.5 to $2 million for those. And you can still get inexpensive homes and condos in Lincoln Park too if you need less expensive property. They're not easy to find, but there's some kind of unusual or odd size properties that you can find below $1 million. I just sold 2 homes on this block recently, recent sales of mine, and example of something that could be knocked down is this townhouse complex behind me. It was built in the 70s. It gets to the point where the land is so valuable and this block is in such demand that those could be knocked down at some point. Sold another townhome down the street for $1 million. It needed to be completely renovated. Was built in the 80s. Big place. Again, location here is just incredible. A lot of the homes are around that $4 million mark, and you can walk downtown on a warm day. You can walk to the parks, you can walk to the schools, and Lincoln Park has pretty incredible restaurants and bars, a lot to do. Lincoln Park pretty much has the same feel, the same vibe walking on the street as it's always had. Hasn't changed over the years that much. Some newer homes, some of the older frame buildings are gone. Besides that, the mature trees, the location, the number of homes, it's all very cozy, nice, and you can walk to the lake and take advantage of a lot of walkable things. So it's quite nice, and old Chicago neighborhood that has a lot of history, and great place to live. Let's be realistic about one thing though. The closer you get to the lake, as far as single family homes go, and many of the newer condos, the more expensive the property is. So closer to the lake is very desirable. Some people will call Lincoln Park pretty far north, pretty far west, away from the lake. It is technically still Lincoln Park, but I guess I would say East Lincoln Park, closer to the lake, is kind of go time, what people really want, especially with single family homes. Call, text, email if you need anything at all. I will say that Lincoln Park is one of the shortest market times, highest prices, most stable markets in all of Chicago.